Probably some of you, sorry, saw this one. I demonstrated a few times ago. I don't remember because I did also in French, so I don't remember exactly. But I would like first to show you the new tools or the improved tools, which are just incredible. Last time in Photoshop, there were so many updates. By the way, try to be updated. I'm not completely. Sorry, someone is coming. I'm not completely at the last version, but you can check it here. Help. Hi, Sharon. We just started, so welcome. Okay. And about Photoshop. The very last version is 27.8. I'm not completely updated, but almost, sorry. So there are some tools like, for example, here. So I will duplicate my background layer as always. Control or Command J. Okay. I can hide the visibility of this one. I don't need it. And the new tool I want to show you is you first need to click here on the, I try to see the thumbnail, but it does not show. Yeah, the remove tool, the remove tool. The remove tool removes if you click. That's not a new tool, but it works as you can see, as you will see, quite well. You see, not bad. Or sometimes also the first possibility was wires and cables, which is a very nice tool, especially for architecture lovers, because there are very often things like that on your photos. So to remove them, very nice. It works really well. So then they added, which is quite not completely new, people. It's also nice, but the someone is. Can you turn off the microphone, please? General distraction, which is the last one, which is just incredible. So let's try. I will ask, find. So it will work. Finding the distractions. That's it. If I remember well, I'm not sure, but I think it is able to detect 26 different distractions. Sorry. So
wow.
as you can see, there is a color for everything. You will find the barrier, yellow. I don't know. I think it's here. Sometimes the colors are not easy to see, but let's see something with is here vehicles, for example, red, yeah, here, and etc. The text, you can also detect the tags, the spot, dust. Here you see the lamps, etc. So you can decide if you click OK to remove everything here, which is detected, but that's not what I will do. I will unclick select all. And here I just would like to remove the cars. Imagine, even with good knowledge of Photoshop, with old techniques, with stamp clone tool, etc., the time it would take to remove the cars. Okay, for this one here in the background, let's say, not very difficult, but here behind the tree, it needs to reconstruct the street, the road, etc. That would be a lot of work. So I can say vehicles. So it will select them. You can, of course, refine with the brush, plus or less, if you consider the selection is not good, but here, nothing to say. And OK. And click. And look. Oops. That's just, I like the word crazy, but that's crazy. Okay, take a little bit time. And that's it. Look at that. That's incredible. It reconstructs the store here behind, the street, everything, everything. You see the before, after. It's almost perfect. Maybe here there is something which you can refine, of course, improve. But yeah, that works for me. This tool means you even don't need to know well. You don't need to be an expert anymore in Photoshop. You can do things like that very easily. Yeah. If you have questions, so that's it. I found you. I show you. I'm done with this one. No. Let's just a last one. I want to remove all the panel here. Okay. So tag ground feature. By the way, here it detected. I remember here. So ground features. Up. I click here, and I want to remove the your bond elements. Or oh no, it was the yellows. I think the barrier. No.
Holes.
The poles. Ah, here. Yeah. Okay. So you see, they are detected and okay. Oops. Sorry. You see, before, after. So nowadays, once again, if you want to remove something which is difficult, here with this tool, that's just a few seconds. And as I wrote, I see that it does not take credits, so you can use it as much as you want. Okay. So I close this image and let's go further. Okay. Let's start with also something. You can see my architecture.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So I will duplicate first. First thing I want to say here, this image is probably the one I created the more different versions, something like 9 or 10 different versions with a lot of different approaches, etc. But I like it very much that the business district area in Paris. By the way, here is my preferred building. Is so beautiful. That's the headquarter of our electricity company in France. So that was one version, one of the first one. By the way, I just changed here a little bit the light, the color of the sky behind also, as I always do with motion blur or sometime with the path blur. But what I want to show you here or make you understand, for many years, I like to say that for architecture, my preferred tool for selection, because you know that I like to separate everything. I like to work locally on this tower, I don't know, on the foreground here, etc. So I rarely will apply what I do on my whole image. So I prefer my work starts always with selection. The sky, almost never the sky is real. I always will change it because I will replace it, because I consider the sky something very important in my images. So I told you lasso polygonal tool. Of course, because architecture is vertical lines, horizontal lines. So it's a very, here it is, lasso. And for example, one click, I go to the top. By the way, there is a little tip. If you want to be sure to be exactly vertical, you hold the shift key. And you see, shift key, and I can't, of course, it depends on the angle. If I go too far, it will change the angle, but I don't know how many percent. But you see, it's now completely straight, which means also that straighten your images. That's what I show again in my last workshop on architecture. By the way, I'm working on the replay because there were 3 sessions, so there is a lot of work, so it will not be ready right now, probably in August. But yeah, you see, it's very, very easy to select with the polygonal lasso tool. Okay, but it takes a little bit of time, so I will not so escape. Okay. Nowadays, and because it works better and better, I will show you 3 possibilities. First, but I know that here, you see, that will be a problem to separate here the top of this building, that's the sky behind, because that's windows. But let's try. Here, you see, when the contrast is perfect between the architecture and the sky, that will be easy. But anyway, let me show you some few things which I never used in the past, and that I used mostly nowadays. So you can first start with, which is not a new tool, select, and sky. I will start with sky. Okay, as I told you, look, it's even not perfect. You see, in many places, here. Okay, this one, as I told you, because the contrast is quite good, it's okay. Here, it's okay. By the way, the best selection, but not completely, is here. If I like, for example, to make it better, I can click the quick mask mode here, just underneath the color picker, click, and I could, for example, here, sorry, I will first inverse. So select inverse, sorry. Okay, so now that's the architecture. So quick mask mode, and I could say with a brush, for example, well, with a brush, that's the most easy. Right click, hardness to the maximum, and with black, I will brush inside. So you see, my selection will be better. Look, I will show you again. Quick mask mode here. I do that fast, of course, but look, you will see. You see? And step by step, you could try to refine. If I want to remove, of course, this part from the selection, you can go with a very classical tool, for example, rectangular marquee tool, which I will subtract from selection, click and drag, and something like that. And you see, now I'm good, etc. I can add this part, let's say, with another tool, with a polygonal lasso tool. Okay, here, click, etc. Okay. Oops, sorry, I did a mistake, because here you see it was intersect, and I want to add to my selection. So that's a very classical way to do. Okay, I'm not very precise. I don't want to spend too much time. And you see, it's much better if I click again the quick mask mode, Q. You see, here it's okay. And like that, brush, and etc. Okay. So, but it's a lot of work. So let's deselect, Control or Command D like David. Okay. Let's now try to select not the sky, but the subject. And you will see that it will be much better. Look at that. It's it's way better, but not perfect. If you like perfection, by the way, it's really not bad. It follows, but yeah, you see, there are some little things which does not work. Okay, I told you here it was consider the whole thing here as the subject, but in fact, you should remove inside all the windows because it will be the sky. Okay, but anyway, it works not bad. I will create a layer with this. So Control or Command J. I will repeat also something here. Let's select just again and consider we don't have this layer. The good practice of Photoshop says I need a selection tool to save selection here. Right click inside save selection and okay, architecture. Okay, and it will create a new channel. Okay. Here it is. You see, architecture, there is a new channel, but personally, I never do that. It's better because it could be better because it does not add any pixels to your file, but you see, you need to switch between the channels. Of course, you can put your channels window somewhere in your interface, but I don't do that. So I don't like that. I prefer to have all my layers, I mean the selection, visible in my layers panel. Yeah. So I create a selection of the buildings, but here you see I would like to add, for example, the bottom. So rectangular marquee tool, add to selection here in the option bar. So you can see the small plus and click and drag. And I added, now I have everything except the sky. Once again, if I want to be very, very precise, I should remove from my selection everything inside here. You see? That would be sorry, someone's coming. Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm a little bit fast also here, but if you want to have the best selection because you will create a new sky behind, so it would be good to remove what is the sky. That's what I did when I did my first creation here. So we have now, oh, sorry, I did a little mistake. Okay. So now I have the whole architecture except, sorry, this one and this one. Okay. I will include here to not to spend too much time. So from my image, Control or Command J. Okay. Now I get, if I want, the idea here is to have everything to load my selection. So I put my cursor on the thumbnail, Control or Command click on the thumbnail, and I load the selection. Same for this one. So you see, I separate. I will even separate a little bit more. I will select another one, and you will understand why after. So click. No matter what I choose here, because I will just do one selection. Okay. Right click, I will add a little bit of feather to get something smooth, the transition. You will see also that later. Okay, sorry, yeah, here it is, and Control or Command G. Okay, so now I have everything I need. Very good practice of Photoshop. That's the questions I have very, very often. For me, Photoshop is mastering the selection, but we will see, I show you something, but I will show you what I use most nowadays. So it's much easier to master the selection. Of course, architecture is much more easier for selection than flowers, for example. But we will see flowers after this image. So selections, understanding the layers, but I think it's not very complicated. You can move them. If I put this one to the top, etc., you can move them. If I put this one to the top, you see, it does not change anything because I have the same layer. But anyway, the second one for me, layer mask, but we will see that in the next example, or even I will show you something here with a layer mask. That's for me the most important, especially when you want to blend layers, that you will remove some parts of what you blend, etc. We will see that in the flower with flowers later. So layer mask and especially here in architecture, because I like to create effects like motion blur. That's what I will do now. I will convert to smart object. First, I will not convert to smart object and show you filter. I want to create a motion blur. So filter, sorry, blur, motion blur. Well, here it does not work very well. It works for some other purpose, but I will not go to that. So 90 degrees. And you see, for example, for me, it's a beautiful image, just like that, with just a vertical motion blur. Okay. But the problem, I completely destroyed my layer. If I don't go in my history and the previous operations here, if I continue to work, etc., I can't change anything anymore on this layer. It's destroyed. The motion blur is applied to the layer. That's a very bad practice of Photoshop. So let's go before. Okay. And first, I will convert, right-click in an empty part of the layer, in gray here, and convert to smart object. Okay, smart object. And now I can go to filter, blur, motion blur. Same, I will apply the same amount. It's okay for me. And you see, now the motion blur is applied as a smart object here underneath the layer. And if I want to remove it, I will show you just after. If I want to change it, I double click on motion blur. It opens the motion blur window, and I could, for example, change the value. Okay, I'm okay. I'm good with that. If I want, for example, add another effect here, for example, a motion blur, a Gaussian blur. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Where it is, here it is, sorry. So, okay, not too much. Okay, like that, for example. You see, it's also applied as a smart object. Here you can see Gaussian blur, double click on it. I can change the value if I want. Okay, I can also hide the visibility of one of the transformation to see here just with the Gaussian blur, here the both, here without the Gaussian blur. So it's always very important. That's something I repeat very often. When you create a transform something, etc., always do the before after. Here, for example, before after. That's very, very important to click several times to see what you did. I do that every time. When you change the colors, for example, also, it's always very important to check several times. So in this case here, if I now I'm done with my file, I will save it as a PSD file because I want to have all my selections, etc. And if tomorrow I decide, oh well, I would like to change something, the motion blur, for example. Okay, and I will increase it like this, and okay. So you always can change, and what is very important, it's non-destructive. Let's remove here the Gaussian blur. I don't want it anymore. Click and drag to the trash. Okay, and here I have just the motion blur, which allows me to tell you about the layer mask. I will show you several examples, but here you see when I applied the motion blur, there is a layer mask. So because it's a smart object just underneath, if you want to add here a layer mask to a layer normal, you click here and you add a layer mask. Layer mask is very, very simple to understand. White make visible, black make invisible. So here, what does it mean? It's visible on my whole image because it's completely white, okay? But for example, I would like to remove a little bit of the motion blur from my image. Never here again. You have to do that in a non-destructive way. So, for example, with the gradient tool, I mostly work with the classic one, from black here in the basics, from black to transparency, okay, linear, okay. You have also, you can try different, the radial can be sometimes interesting, but mostly here I will use the linear gradient, normal for the blend mode, and opacity, I'm always around 70, 80, and I will click on the layer mask, okay? I will need to fill the layer mask with black. I want to remove here the blur from the bottom. So black foreground color. I will put my cursor here, for example, click and drag. Once again, if I want to be sure to be completely vertical, Shift key, and you see, I can go several times. Sorry, someone is coming. Okay. And you see, now my layer mask is not completely white. What is black is what I have hidden with the gradient tool. I could do here also with the pen tool. Okay, pen tool. Hardness to the minimum. You see, if I want to remove where I want, you see, now I will make my layer mask big. One little tip, if you want to see your layer mask full size, you put your cursor on it, you hold the Alt or Option key on Mac and click, and each time you do that, you switch from the layer mask to your image. Yeah. Hi, Karen. Nice to see you. If you can, please switch off your microphone and webcam if you have. Okay. Thank you. So that's it. You see, the layer mask is really, for me, the most important. We will see another examples. If I say, okay, no, I did a mistake, I will brush with white and come back to what I did. If I at all don't want to do that, and once again, it's black. Another possibility, which is very creative also, you can invert your layer mask. So it's white, I want it black. So for that, the short key, which is the most easy to do, Control or Command I. And as you can see, now I see my image normal without any transformation, but the motion blur is here, but just for the moment hidden with the black layer mask. So now to reveal some part of it, let's say again with the gradient tool, sorry, with white. Look, click and drag, and you see, I make appear the motion blur. You see, layer mask white, so the motion blur is visible here and not visible here in this part. I will make it big. Something. The nice thing with the gradient tool that you have something progressive, you know. So I use it a lot. Yeah. So someone, please turn off your microphones, please. I can hear a microphone. Okay, so that if you have questions.
I don't know how to turn my microphone off.
Sorry.
Oh, shoot.
Okay. Okay. So if you have questions, please ask. Someone is talking. Let me see where the microphone is turned off. Okay. Okay. I think everybody, yeah, it's good now. Okay. So I share my screen again. Okay. So let me see what's in the chat. Okay. Last thing, I told you I like to separate everything. I will do something a little bit different. So I will just delete this layer. I don't need it anymore. I would like, because I selected my different parts, for example, this one. So I will click it, right click, convert to smart objects. And I will, once again, filter, blur, and motion blur. Okay, so now it's too much, I think. Okay, something like that. Here it just applied, of course, to my selections, which are the three buildings, which can be interesting. If I don't like the top here, which is the case of, let me show you layer mask. If I want to remove here to the top the effect, with a brush, black, I can brush a little bit, for example, and you see. Okay, something like that, maybe. Yeah, okay. So that's it. But my idea here is to do something different with the bottom. So I will just click here. Remember, Control or Command click, that's the selection here of the bottom. And I will also convert to Smart Object and also play with the filter, blur, motion blur. But if you want to be, you see, by the way, by applying a motion blur separately on this part, just the building and the bottom here, you see, it's different that applying, as I did on the completely wool image. You see, here there is something maybe more interesting here. But my idea will be to do something different. So not 19, but you see 0, angle 0, so horizontal, and you see the before, after. Can be also a creative idea. By the way, I think that's the first time I demonstrate that. Okay, and here also layer mask. So you see, that's what I do when I create. I try the more possibilities I can. I first select everything, which is, let's say, the boring part of the work. But after that, you have the time to play and create and change, try the different possibilities, and that you see here, that's not a standard result. That's something a little bit different. So I encourage you to play the more and more you can. Yeah. I will not demonstrate here the crossed motion blurs because I did that very often. But yeah, so that's it. Questions? Okay. Last thing I want to demonstrate here, because I was not. Oh, sorry. Up. Sorry, I want to remove everything. You see, I create and I delete. That's my life. Okay, delete. Oops, sorry. So the last thing, because I show you that you can try to select with select subjects or sky, but nowadays, and you will see in the next exercise, that's just fantastic. The object selection tool, which is nowadays my really preferred one, much before the polygonal lasso tool. I don't use much by the way, the pen tool, which I master, but I don't use it a lot. But look, object selection tool, here in the option bar, select subject, and look, better than what did the select subject. Look, now, if you see when you scroll over, you see the selections with this tool, this building, this. So if you don't want to see them, so you click another tool, no matter which one. But look, that's better. And nowadays, if even a few months ago, I would not tell you about the selection with the object selection tool, nowadays it's just incredible. I will feel with the quick mask mode. Look at that. That's really impressive. And okay, I told you several times here that nothing complicated. You just have straight lines, so that's very easy. But look, of course, if I want to fill this part, which was not included in my selection, I can add it. I do fast again, but you understand. You see, I can add it, and if I release the quick mask mode, so now it's in my selection. So we will see that even more impressive with the next file. We will see. So the quick mask mode is really helpful to improve, refine your selection. I always click to see what happens. Sorry, you can change the color by I double click on it. That's the reason why it opens this window. Okay, so you can change the color, but the red works well usually. It's 50% opacity red. Okay. Okay, I don't know what, sorry, I don't know what to show you now before we switch to flowers. Yeah, maybe let's finish with this one, which will work best. I mean, architectures and flowers. Some techniques to the blend mode. That's what I want to show you, blend modes. So there are several, of course. I want, for example, to create an effect. You will see. I will duplicate this one, Control Command J. I will Control or Command T transform. And for example, I will move it a little bit here to the top. And OK, enter. If I change the blend mode, from normal, I know which one. You can try them, of course. Or you see, why not painting effect light but lighten. You see, for me, lighten is nice. So you see, now I create much more light inside my my architecture. I do that, some of you know here. I use that if I don't have enough light to create my motion blurs, etc. And now, for example, once again, I can do again Control or Command J, V, move tool, and I will move again. And you see, I will like that add several lights. If I just want the light, for example, here, okay, I will select the 3 layers together, right click, I will merge them. Okay, so before, after, and if I want just to make visible what I just did just here or in some parts, let's see, layer mask, I will invert it, Control or Command I, so I get my basic image, and with the brush, so because it's black, we will brush with white again. Okay. We will do something very, very soft, hardness to 0. And if I brush here, you see, I can make just visible. So it can be also very, very creative, you see. Here also, that's the first time, by the way, I demonstrate that. That's improvisation. Okay, so you see, before, after, why not? Yeah. I will delete this one, and I will show you another way to blend the layers, which is called stacking. Okay, that will be the last thing I will do on this image. Okay, so I duplicate, Control or Command J, sorry, Control or Command T, transform. I will here, for example, move a little bit to the left. I will duplicate again this layer. By the way, you could also first duplicate several times, Control J or Control or Command J several times, like that, for example. Let's delete the one I just moved. And you can, now you have all the layers you need. So Control or Command T, transform to the left. Okay, the next one, Control or Command T to the right and a little bit to the top. It's just improvisation. There is no specific place to put them. So Control, Command J, I don't know, to the bottom. Control, Command J, Control, Command T, sorry, transform to the right. Okay. Okay, so I get several layers with several transformations. I will select them all except my first layer, which is my image. Right click, I will convert to Smart Object. So as you can see now, there is only one layer, but all the layers are in a Smart Object. And now the idea, very simple. You go to the top menu, Layer, Smart Object, Stack Mode, and you can try, very few will work. You can try yourself when you will try training. The one which will work best, I think, is Min, because the names are, you see, and you get something with a good blending, interesting. If you want to change something inside the Smart Object, double click, you open it, so you see the 4 layers we transform. I don't know, I take this one, for example, Control or Command T, let's exaggerate, and I will rotate it so you will see better. Okay. I close, you see, it opened a new PSB file, so I close it. Save changes to the, of course, yes, because I just changed something. Okay, it will apply. And you see, the one I just rotated is here. So that's a very, very easy technique for to blend your images and get something interesting. Yeah. if you like, of course, this kind of fantasy. So I'm done with this image. So let's go to next. But before, if you have questions. Okay. You are very quiet. Okay. So let's go further. So flowers, because I want to show you flowers. Here it is. You can see the flowers?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So some of you here know very well this image. That's AI, but the interesting thing I will show you, because I even don't remember I told that, or maybe during some workshop, I don't remember, but no problem. Okay, I will. In fact, this is the result with the AI from I started with this image, which is absolutely not AI. That's one image you see, that's drawing like, painting like. I bought this image on a stock image. So for this who does not like AI, you can of course start here from an image, but from real flowers, of course, which I do, of course, also sometimes. So that's it. That's just for the thing. If some of you here know this image and the techniques I show, which are in the bundle I show you at the beginning of the presentation. By the way, some of you came later, so you can read the chat. There are links to my bundles and a new workshop. So, but what I will show you now is also crazy. Again, this work I like very much. So Control or Command J, okay. Hide the visibility, and first I will select. I first need to select. So object selection tool here, of course, if you have time and patience, you could say, okay, pen tool, etc. And you go like that. Yeah, and it takes 2 hours. Okay. So I will not continue this way. Okay. Of course, you need something well contrasted between the background and the subject. I mean, you see a white background with here a good contrast. It will be very, very easy for the tool. All technique I will show you because I use it before that magical tool. Double click in an empty part of my layer, and I will do what is called a blend if on gray on the current layer. And the idea will be here to remove the highlights. So the white here, but you will see, let me show you. So if I click and drag to the left, look, one click, and I removed the background, but because it's white. But I also, sorry, what happened? I did not confirm, sorry. So up, you see, just a small click. If you want to go a little bit smoother, you can separate. You see, there is a vertical line here in the handle. So you put your cursor a little bit to the left. You are not obliged to be exactly inside. You hold the Alt or Option key on Mac, and you see it's a little bit smoother. But as you can see, you removed the highlights, so the white in the foreground. That's what we want. But you see, you also, unfortunately, remove a little bit of the flower because that was also white. But the success of this kind of images when I started, my students were surprised with the transparency of the petals, the leaves, etc. So here you directly, in fact, get the transparency in this case. But let's confirm, and I will show you how I can fix now this. Let's say it's not a problem, but I would like to feel here's the flower. So background, okay. Of course, now I see the background because I activated this background for image. So that's the reason why, again, if you don't need it, sometimes it can be disturbing. So I will duplicate it, Control or Command J. Okay. I will put it on the very top of my panel. And here again, layer mask. I will invert it, Control or Alt. Control or Command I, sorry. So you see, it's here but not visible. And with a brush, so the contrary will be white. And you can feel here like that. I will give a little bit more hardness to be sure not to go outside the... And you see? Very, very simple. That's a very good tip in this case. Yeah, I think that's the only place where... Oh, here you see, there is transparency also. Okay, so if I want to... because I prefer to create the transparency later when I will have my new background, etc. And then I can brush also with the layer mask on the flowers to get the transparency. But first, I want to have something very clean. You see here also, if not very visible. In fact, everywhere when we, you see here, for example, and now it's filled. Yeah. So if I'm okay, I'm happy with that, I will select the two layers and I will merge them. Okay. And now it's clean. So if I want to load the selection, Control or Command click, and I load it, by the way, you see here, for example, I did not the job to the end, you see, to clean, but now it's too late because I merged my layer. But anyway, that's not I don't need them. So I load the selection. Why? Because now I want to show you something incredible, which is new, very new in Photoshop. And I will show you an example of what I posted recently, the rotate tool, but not the rotate your layers, that's something else. So I need the flower here, okay? This one, I want this flower. So I will select it, intersect with selection, and I will go around. I don't know if I need here the stuff. Sorry. Okay. Okay, so now as a result, I get the intersection of my selection, the flower, and Control or Command J, new layer. So now my flower is in a new layer. I will put it here in the center. I'm sorry, give me a few seconds. I need a little bit of water. Okay, the very, very new tool. I did not found yet how to do with architecture. By the way, I think if I remember well, I demonstrated with architecture, but the result was so-so. So here it is in the contextual, in the bar. You see this icon. You see like a selection here. I click it. So it will select the flower because that's the only thing I have here, and rotate object. Okay, it works. Okay, so now as you can see, I have rotate or tilt. Okay, what I want to do is to completely change the angle. I would like to see inside the flower. It does not exist, of course, in my image. So now you can all play here with the handles. You see, I prefer here, I rotate, click, and you see I can move. So I rotate, but look, it's not rotate as we rotate a layer. It rotates the flower, which that does not exist, right? It creates live the new flower rotated. Okay, I will tilt. Oh, sorry, I will tilt. Look, that's completely during the transformation. The quality is not good, but when you look what we get, that's just crazy. So I told you you can also here and here. Yeah, you can click and drag or here rotate. Okay, there is something here I don't like, but anyway, after that, so and okay, I will done. Yes, of course, here that's 200% AI, but maybe some of you remember there was in Photoshop long time ago 3D a 3D menu, but they abandoned this 3D in Photoshop years ago. But look, now it's with AI. But look at that. Before that was the flower of my image, and after. What you think? Nothing.
Amazing.
Yeah, I agree. I waited for such a comment because I never saw that, and it's very very new. So try to be updated. Yeah, if you have a subscription. So it gave me an idea a few days ago. I will open the file. By the way, let's try with another one. Okay. Control or sorry, I need to make it visible. Control, Command, click. I want to do something with this one with a different angle. So I will separate here with a lasso tool, or it could be also with a free lasso, but intersect and okay, here it's a little bit delicate. Here. Okay. Okay, so I have my flower, Control or Command J, and I want just the visibility on this one. I will put it here, maybe try to make it bigger. Because rotate, that's rotate. That's so as you saw, the new function is something completely different. So I make it bigger. Okay. So as I said, sorry, here's the icon at the bottom, the square, almost square lines. Okay. Rotate object. Okay. And now I click rotate and let's move, you see. And let's try to tilt. Look at that. And done. Oop, done. You see? Before, after. Just incredible. Yeah. Okay. Whoa. Yeah. Even I'm so when I saw that the first time, I said, whoa. And you see, and you know, when I see something, when I see something like that, I know I will have a lot of new ways to create. So it's okay for that. I will not insist. Okay. Yeah, I'm speechless. I agree. Me too. Unfortunately, I have to talk, but I'm speechless myself. Okay, so that's it. If you have questions, so you see, very very easy tool to manipulate. Yeah. By the way, if you go to help and what's new, you will see here in the last versions. I think it was here in this one. Yeah. Uh, change views with rotate object. You can see my Photoshop with the flowers?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. That's the very last one I created, by the way. I will show you how I created here inside. You see, that's exactly, I started with, sorry. I started with, let me show you again. And let me show you both. So a few days ago, I decided to really try to begin to use rotate tool. This flower, it's this one. This flower is this one. So you see, I selected as I did, as I show you previously, and then I rotated them. You see, I wanted something, yeah, with a good harmonization, the colors, because you see, I change also a little bit the color. And this one is from another file, but something very similar to that. So you see, the possibilities are just incredible. So I will close this one. Okay. So I started to play with this new rotate tool. And my idea even was not to create an image. I just wanted to play with this tool. So let's start. You see, that's quite a lot of work. But if you notice, there is a lot of work on the layer masks. You see, that's sorry, the biggest part of the work here, etc. So let's start from the beginning. That's an image I created some time ago with the same, not the rotated tool, but with the flowers I added in front of a background with splash, etc. So after I created my flowers, yeah, this one, etc. So I decide to put a background, Okay. Okay. Thank you. I read in the chat. So let's go further. Very simple technique. If you want to soften your image, you see, before, after. Let's do that again. There are a lot of possibilities also in Nik Collection or Boris FX. By the way, if you noticed here, there is now a possibility to open Boris FX here, the window. So I need to first, I think, select something, starting. Okay, yeah, you see, that's interesting. Now you have a window with auto adjust, for example, and I don't know if it works. So you can directly here, but what I don't see, the results. Here it is. No. Why? You need first to apply. Sorry, because I don't use much. But look, for example, I want to change to this version, and now I need to apply. So rendering. So even you don't have to go to BorisFX. If you know exactly what you want to apply, you see, and it applied. Very, very interesting. Yeah. It's much easier now to understand where are located the presets, etc. And the logo for those you using BorisFX, as you can see, the logo also changed here. You see, I like it. It's more modern, by the way, than the previous one, I think. So I delete that. It was just for the BorisFX lovers like me. Okay, so I don't remember. Yeah. You see, here, it's not easy to explain. The flower I created, I reduce the opacity. You see, that's 100%, but 100% for me, it's not good. I want to blend a little bit more. So my technique, which I demonstrate in my bundle, for example, I will add a layer mask, brush, okay, very soft, hardness to 0. I will also here reduce the opacity, the flow, something very, and you see, by brushing, I will reveal, I exaggerate a little bit, but I will brush to see what is in the background. You see, now the blend is much better. It's much better than that for me. Yeah. But that's not what I did here. Delete. I decide to reduce the opacity. But you see, for example, I like the result here, but I would like to make the here, this part, the bottom of my flower, more visible. So what I will do first, I will restart with 100%. Control or Command J. Okay, let's for the moment I will restart with what I just did. Okay. Okay. Sharon, that's also new. That's for you. If you are here, sorry, I don't see the participants actually. So now with this one, which was full, I will also add a layer mask, invert. By the way, there is a shortcut. If you want directly black, you put your cursor here on the layer mask icon, and you first press the Alt or Option key, click, and you directly get the black layer mask. And now I will brush with white where I want to. I can even increase the numbers. You see? Let's see, I want to have something here. You see? Before, after. So I get half this part of my image full, and here with transparency. I like this idea. Yeah. So let's delete because I want to continue to show you. Okay. Okay. So then I put also another flower, this one, but also with, you see, the opacity is reduced, 100%, etc. And I did exactly, you see, the same. I create a new layer with 100% opacity and fill flower, and then, you see, I made visible only some few parts. So layer mask, layer mask, layer mask. I can repeat that. Yeah. So that's it. That's this one. I did exactly the same as I did previously. Some part empty and some part with transparency. That's here. Why I have this? That's stamp layer, but I change the color here. Let's see later what will happen. So then I play a little bit with hue, saturation, and colors, you see, before, after I try to find something I like. There are very often stamp players in my images. And here also again I play to make visible some parts to get, you see, before, after, you see. Again, I wanted a little bit more of transparency. Okay, this one. This one I will show you later. That's something I do almost in all my images. I told you a few seconds ago about Boris FX. That's, you see, you make the texture more visible. You see here the splashes, they look painting-like. By the way, let's try directly from this Windows. Maybe we can. So I will just duplicate and open but I don't know where it is. If my favorites are here, I will find them. Nice. I see that for the first time. Okay, sharpen, soft light. Oh, by the way, I forgot to show you the soft light. I mean, in Photoshop, I will do later. Okay, where it is? Point or parallel. You see, let's exaggerate with that and apply. I prefer, of course, to be to open. Here you click Optics UI and you will open. And you see, before, after. So you reveal the textures. I like that very much. I do that also in some of my architectural images. Let's show you again. Layer mask, it's too much for me everywhere. So I will add a layer mask. I can invert or just with black, remove the effect where I don't want it. I prefer the contrary. I prefer to start with a black mask and reveal where, but you see, let's do 100. If I want to remove, you see, if I want to remove from the splashes, from the background, etc., you see, before, after, it just applied on the flower. If it's too much, of course, when you are in optics, you can set with the parameters, but let's decrease. For me, it's a little bit too much. Yeah, it's better. But you see, it gives also a 3D, let's say, effect to the flowers. So I will delete that. It was just to show you. Yeah, I wanted to show you how to soften. You can do that on all kind of images. New layer, solid color. I don't know, I will. Not completely white, something. Oh, it can be color. So if it was landscape, you can add something yellowish a little bit, like the sunlight. But here, okay. And I will lower the opacity to 0. And now I will add, and you see, before, after. So you soften very, very easily your images like that. By the way, there are some quite new tools also interesting. If you want to add grain, you can do that. Clarity, by the way, and dehaze. I think you can also soften, you see. Clarity. I will delete this one because this one plus this one is a little bit too much. Okay. You see? You can also this way, by the way, it's a quite new way to do that, to give a very, very soft atmosphere. Okay, so I will delete it for the moment. So as I said, you see, with Boris, I revealed the texture, but you see, it's very, very subtle. It's not too much, sorry. Okay, so then it's a copy of a stamp layer. Here you see several things here inside the flowers, as you can see. Oops, sorry, here it is. And also here the droplets which were, oh, sorry, it's not the, which were not in the image. I did that with Bloom. I will show you later. Bloom is also one of, is part of my best tools, actually. A little bit expensive nowadays, but they change the prices, and but you can do a lot of very interesting things. So stamp layer here, I think, and oh yeah, at the end, I decide, to I will show you how create a motion effect. So you see something, the colors comes very fast here, and I can imagine here, I don't know, a circle with a little holes, and they project the splashes. Not that fast. That's the idea. So to do that, I show you. Okay, let's do on this one. So I will convert to smart object, and that's also a blur I like very, very much, which is in filters. Not blur, but a blur gallery, path blur. It creates automatically a path. So click and drag, I will move it. I want to follow, you see, the line here, maybe here. I will do something like that. Maybe a last one here. Click and double click to close the path, sorry. And I will increase the speed. I want something, well, I don't want the effect on my whole images. You saw I want it to the bottom, but okay, for the moment I can't do anything else. There is no mask here, and I will invert again the layer mask, Control or Command I, and reveal with, or I could do that, by the way, with, if I want something linear, with the gradient tool from white to black, click and drag, and you see, I will reveal just. But of course, you see, I soften here the flower. So if I don't want, with a brush, black, of course, hardness to the minimum. And you see, I will reveal the flower and just the effect here. Yeah. And because it's a layer mask, look, blur gallery, if I want to increase the speed more, let's do something like that. I did not change here the passes, the curves, and you see it's different. Yeah. Oops. That's it. That's how I created. So you see, almost on every layers, I did something on the layer mask. Very, very important. Especially when you create, as you saw, I will add something here, remove something here, etc., etc., etc. If you want to control exactly what you do, you need absolutely to master the layer mask. It seems complicated when you begin with them, but in fact, I tell you, a layer mask is or black or white. If it's not black but gray, it will be semi-transparency, but let's consider here black and white, and that's it. That's it. Very, very easy. Let me show you how I did. I don't know where to start with. Okay, do you have questions? I know I was probably a little bit fast, sorry. No? And at the end, I also like usually go in Boris FX, and there are so many presets to give us moods or light or special effects, etc. Yeah. Here I just use the Boris effect for the textures, sorry. Okay, so I close it. I want to just, the last one, I will show you the other one I created, which is this one. Unfortunately, I don't have the PSD or what? Yeah, here it is, I think. Okay. You can see it?
Yes.
Okay. That's the last result I got. As many of you know, I like to come back to an image and create something else, different versions. I do that for a very, very long time. And here is what I created a few days ago, starting from probably my very first image which was let's say successful. I don't like the word, but this one. And why? Because you remember the flower I showed you previously, which was a painting. That's the same. I added a background, etc. But why it was popular? Because I told you several times I was asked how I created the transparency. You see, you can see a little bit of the flower here, here. So it will depend of your image. Here you can see also a little bit of the vegetation behind the flower, which is not real because once again the petals are never transparent. I'm not a specialist, a flower specialist, but yeah, I was so successful with these images that I created my second course with these techniques, which are also in the bundle I told you. So the before, and you see nowadays I get something completely different. The just to I will not show you all the steps. That's almost oh maybe some few. That's exactly the same idea of what I show you previously. But of course here you see the background was generated by AI. But if you see the before, look, you see this one, this one, this one are they are at the same place here also. Look, not the big one, but almost everything was respected. Also, of course, the big flowers, because I know how to do how to ask to AI to make the exact composition I want. By the way, let me show you very fast on my Facebook, because if you are on my Facebook, I think most of you are, you can see, just give me 2 seconds, up. Okay. No, not here. I don't know why. Oh, it's another one I also created a few times ago. Much more a fantasy world. Let me, sorry, share my screen. My Facebook, I mean. Okay, so you see, I created something. I started to create first my composition with a real photo. By the way, the roses here are real. Of course, here that's not real, but that's not AI. That was also a drawing, painting, pastel I bought on a stock image. So I created first my composition. And look, if you look carefully, it's respected. Here, this one is here, this one is here. Of course, the flowers are different, but you see, overall, it respect. You see, this one is here, this one at the bottom also. So I started with that, and here I was even more, let's say, crazy. My idea, if to compare with the flowers, I added real flowers to replace some of them. Here it's real flowers. Here also. Here I think that's all. But this one, that's one of I show you in my in my exercise. Sorry. So yeah, that's it. So yeah. So once again, here I just played with the texture with again Boris effect. You can do that with also Photoshop with sorry, with the filter, sharpen, smart sharpen. Okay, it's I should start with another image, but I will increase just to show you. Probably I'm not. You see, you can also increase the texture with Photoshop. Before, after. It's way too much, of course, just for you to see. But for some reasons, I don't know, but I think it's more interesting with Boris effects, or maybe just me thinking that. But yeah, I think it's much better. Yeah. So that's it. The work is exactly the same, except what I did here. Well, I generated here up this image, but I just wanted here the bottom, as you can see in the final result. You see, that's just the bottom. So you see, it's never a fully generated image. And you can do that with real flowers, of course. But it's always a mix of different images, part images, flowers, etc. That's a lot of work for this kind of images. And I'm fast because I know my Photoshop, but this kind of image can take me around 3 hours of work. Yeah. And as everybody, I'm not always, good. Sometimes I wake up, I start something, and I understand that it's better to stop and see the next day because I'm not in the mood, or you have to be in the mood when you create, of course. Yeah. Last thing, so I'm done with this one. The last thing I would like to show you, because I use it almost every day. I took this photo because, of course, I do a lot of Photoshop and fantasy, but it was also a time when I just took photos. Yeah, this one, I even when I saw it in my archive a few days ago, I said, "Wow, it was 20 years ago." Yeah. So, but that good memories. Okay, so I wanted just this one. Okay. You see, that's the before, let's say almost the final result I got in Photoshop, what I just show you. And when I put it in Boris, of course, it depends on the level of creativity you have, because you have low, subtle, medium, high, and maximum. I like always the maximum. Look, I don't like, you see, I told you the splashes here, the droplets created by with here bloom. And what I like, because here inside the flower I did not like the result, but here you see, I did not like it, so I said okay, I will not put it in my result. But look here, I like it, and here even more. You see, before, after. I don't like what it did here at the bottom, for example. So no problem when I will download my image, put it in Photoshop, black mask, and I revealed here inside these flowers, this one, the droplets everywhere, but anything else, nothing else, sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So I tell you, Bloom is a fantastic tool. I will see if I can show you maybe something relevant. Oh yeah, probably here. Okay, because I have the result. That's the before, and look at the. I like what it did here in the background on the vegetation. Look, you see, before, after. I personally like that. You see, it changed a lot of things. The flowers are not that much change. Sharpness, a little bit of details more, but you see at the bottom, this one, the white one, became this one.
Excuse me.
Yeah, please.
So the Bloom just decides how to do it, or do you give it instructions?
No, I will show you. You just can give. So you see before, after, and I will just reveal then in Photoshop what I want to reveal here. I just said I like this one. So I show you just for you to understand. It's very basic. Up. Let's start from the original. That's the original, okay? And you see, it opens a window. You can add a prompt. I did that very, very few times, but usually I don't. So here you have a realism. If you want something realist, Wonder is works. They add every week there is something new in Bloom. That's an upscaler. Bloom is an upscaler, so you can upscale 1, 2, 4, 6. It will unfortunately depend of your. If I want 6, you see, max output size on your current plan is 33 megapixels. So I can you see, even 4 I can't. No, because it's a big file. You see, it's a big file, so it does not want. But yeah, so Wonder 3, it's new. I try that on portraits, and the result is very nice. The skin is natural. It's nice, but standard. And you see creativity, subtle, low, medium, high, and max. So the more you increase the creativity, the more, let's say, for example, it takes a little bit time, but let's say, for example, medium, okay, and process. So you can ask for 1, 2, 4 outputs. So you will have several windows, but because it takes a little bit time to generate, I prefer just one output. So process, we have to wait a little bit. I'm
David?
reading the chat. I'm reading the chat. Thank you very much for the nice words. Yeah, please. Go ahead.
I have a question. Is Bloom a part of Topaz Labs, or is this
Yeah. Yeah, it's Topaz Labs. Yeah. You see, look at the top left, Topaz Labs.
So is this you are working within the program of Topaz Labs?
No, here on the browser.
I'm sorry, repeat.
On the browser on internet.
Oh, okay.
I'm not inside the app. You see, I'm on the internet. Yeah. By the way, I just heard a few days ago that Adobe, they bought Topaz Labs. You have Bloom in Photoshop. You can do with Bloom in Photoshop, but you don't have that much possibilities than here. I have a plan. The name is Studio, but yeah, the only thing when they started a year ago, I remember the first time I saw that was back in June, and it was something like, I don't remember, but 80 euros for the year, and now it's 300. As a member, I got a 50% discount, but anyway, it doubles the price. So you see, it takes a little bit time. You can see here it's almost 60%. But let's see what we get with a lower creativity than I used previously. Because now in Photoshop, you have bloom, gigapixel. Oh, here it is. Okay, and where is the before? Ah, yeah. You see, that's medium. You see, nothing much. You see, before, after. You see, there is some differences, but not too much. You see, I like to go personally to the maximum. So that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I stop the sharing.